Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Monday, July 20th, 2015, around 7:02 in the morning, Billerica, Massachusetts. It's going to be a hot one today, and humidity, another 90-degree day. Some news to report. The Angels-Red Sox game got rained out last night in Anaheim. Not too many rainouts in Anaheim. First rainout for a game in Anaheim in 20 years. But Southern California needs a rain because they're on a major drought. So double header today, Red Sox and Angels. And the Houston Rockets acquired Ty Lawson from the Denver Nuggets. That's about it on the news. My first video blog subject of the day is my review of the Bash at the Beach 1995 WCW pay-per-view from Huntington Beach, California. The card was on a beach in Huntington Beach. And the main event was a steel cage match for the WCW World Title. Hulk Hogan facing off against a man they call Vader. It's time! It's time! It's Vader time! And this pay-per-view had a couple of dark matches. Well, these weren't dark matches. These were on the main event, which was on TBS before the pay-per-view. There were three of them. And here they are. Sergeant Craig Pitbull Pittman defeated Chris Kanyon, pinning him. And the next one was Road Warrior Hawk defeating Mark Starr. And the third match was Dick Slater and Bunkhouse Buck with Colonel Robert Parker defeating Marcus Alexander Bagwell and Alex Wright. And the winner of that match got a shot at the WCW World Tag Team titles. And it was Dick Slater and Bunkhouse Buck. After the match, Vader comes out and gives the powerbomb to Marcus Alexander Bagwell and Alex Wright. And he really wanted Hogan right then and there. And this was what happened on the pay-per-view card, which was called by Tony Schiavone and Bobby the Brain Heenan. The first match was for the WCW United States title. It was the man they called Sting facing off against Maine with Colonel Robert Parker. Sting was the United States champion at this time. This was a good match and stuff. Sting wins with a roll-up after Maine misses a kick. And Sting rolls him for the 1, 2, 3. Afterwards, Mink continues to attack on Sting, but he was rescued by Road Warrior Hawk. The next match was for the WCW World Television Championship. It was the Renegade with the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, the TV champion. The Renegade was an Ultimate Warrior ripoff, facing off against Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. And the crowd was booing big time for the Renegade and cheering for Mr. Wonderful. Even though Mr. Wonderful was a heel and the Renegade was a face and stuff. This was a back and forth match. The Renegade no-stoled Paul Orndorff's pile driver. The ending had the Renegade pinning Paul Orndorff with a crossbody for the 1, 2, 3. And retaining the TV championship. The next match was Kamala, who was part of the Dungeon of Doom, facing off against Hacksaw Jim Duggan. This was an awful match. The ending had the Zodiac, who was part of the Dungeon of Doom, who was Brutus Beefcake, on the face paint, hit Jim Duggan with the mask, of Kamala's mask, and Kamala splashes Jim Duggan for the 1, 2, 3. The next match was Diamond Dallas Page, DDP, with the Diamond Doll, Kimberly, and Max Muscle, facing off against Dave Sullivan. And before the match, a fan came and gave Kimberly roses, but DDP ripped it off. I bet that was a plant from the crowd and stuff. This was an awful match. The ending had DDP use the diamond cutter with Dave Sullivan after Dave Sullivan had him in the bear hug. Just an awful match, and this was kind of an awful feel because it revolved around Ralph the Rabbit and the Diamond Doll and stuff. The next match was a triple threat match for the WCW World Tag Team Championships. It was Harlem Heat with Sister Sherry facing off against the Nasty Boys, who were Brian Knobbs and Jerry Sags facing off against the Blue Bloods, who was Lord Steven Regal and the Earl of Eaton, Bobby Eaton. And this was a back and forth match. Very competitive and stuff. The Nasty Boys and Harlem Heat had a long-running feud, which was pretty good. The Blue Bloods were put in there and stuff. The ending had Jerry Sags pin Booker T, who pinned Lord Steven Regal, and Jerry Sags and Brian Knobbs celebrated because the referee counted 3. They thought they won back the WCW World Tag Team Champions, but the referee awarded the match to Harlem Heat to regain the title because he ruled that that Booker T pinned Lord Steven Regal legally and stuff like that. So it was awful. And the next match was a lifeguard match, which was kind of under like lumberjack rules. It was Nature Boy Ric Flair, woo, facing off against Randy the Macho Man Savage. And before the match, they had some Baywatch babes there, lifeguards, and they also showed Angelo Poffo, Macho Man Randy Savage's father, in the crowd and stuff. And this lifeguard match was pretty good and stuff. It was a lumberjack match, but they used it was nicknamed a lifeguard match because it was on the beach. And Randy Savage and Ric Flair always give great matches because they had a long-running feud in WWE and WCW. And it was the ending had Macho Man go up to the top rope to deliver his elbow for the 1, 2, 3. And the final match of this pay-per-view card was for the WCW World title. It was Vader, the challenger, facing off against Hulk Hogan, the WCW World Champion at the time, with the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, as his referee, and NBA player at the time, Dennis Rodman. And this was an awesome match. The Dungeon of Doom, the Zodiac and Kevin Sullivan and Shark tried to interfere and stuff, but Dennis Rodman hit them with a chair. Hulk Hogan put the Vader helmet on, unbelievable and stuff. Back and forth match. Ending had Hulk Hogan beat Vader by climbing the cage. Usually NWA and WCW cage matches, you have to pin the wrestler 1, 2, 3. But they changed the rules for this match, so a wrestler could go outside the ring and win it, climb out of the cage, or could walk through the door. That's WWE rules of the cage match, but WCW used those WWE rules for the cage match. And afterwards, Vader gets mad, and Ric Flair and Arn Anderson enter the cage and berate Vader, saying, "Why did you lose? Why did you lose?" And Vader got mad at that, and he started attacking Flair and Anderson, and Vader turned face after that and stuff like that. And that was about it on this pay-per-view. What did I think about this pay-per-view? I thought this pay-per-view, Bash at the Beach 1995, was an average pay-per-view at best, C-. A lot of kind of decent matches, but others not so great, especially Kamala versus Jim Duggan, DDP against Dave Sullivan, Renegade against Paul Orndorff when the fans booed the Renegade right out of the beach, and also the ending of the Nasty Boys Blue Bloods Harlem Heat match was kind of off. They should have allowed the Nasty Boys to win back the WCW World Tag Team Championships, but Harlem Heat was in a feud with the Colonel Rob Parker's stable of Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater, and they want to continue that feud because Parker and Sherry had a kind of love affair and stuff like that, so they probably wanted that feud over the titles instead of having the Nasty Boys regain them. And it was C- and stuff, and this is probably when the Hulk Hogan's peak of popularity with the red and yellow and WCW was starting to wane and stuff like that. And tomorrow I'm going to review Bash at the Beach 1996. This is when Hulk Hogan turns heel and joins the NWO. More on that tomorrow. 2 more video blogs today. LRTA Bus Route 15 from Lowell Kennedy Center at the Gallagher Terminal to IBM in Littleton, Massachusetts. And the third and final video blog of the night is former NHL player Gary Roberts, a Hockey Hall of Famer. Have a good day, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Keep calm, and I'm a Julie Brennan guy. And I know. Bye.